All right, so this is the Frontend and UX sync meeting for the release group. Today is June 10th. Um, all right, so I have the first item in the agenda if no one else has anything else. But yeah, Nathan, thanks again for opening the discussion on release as an input to pipeline. Really interesting to have that direction set up for the team.
Yeah, you bet. It was really the core idea wasn't mine. It was someone on the configure team. But it really connected. Like that's kind of that idea has been bouncing around in my head for a long time. But they finally like wrote it down in a way that made sense to me. Like that's really what I want is like have a release and deploy that to an environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I obviously don't know the GitLab as a system as well as you guys do, but it sounded very weird that release and environments were not something that were already connected. They don't have to be necessarily, but the fact that like they're kind of loose concepts by themselves is super weird. And I appreciated everyone's comments in the sense that it feels like everyone was thinking something similar, and you managed to put it in words first. So thanks for that.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, another idea that it's kind of a more extreme version of this. I don't really know if this makes sense, and I'm curious what you guys think. So I know like Azure DevOps for a while had separate pipeline definitions for their CI and for their release, like their build or their deployment. I don't know if anything something like that would make sense for us to have, keep our GitLab CI YAML file, and then have a separate like GitLab CD YAML that would describe how releases get deployed to environments and have like a whole separate pipeline. I don't know. Another thought.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. It would just the idea would probably make a lot of people anxious. I
I
think,
know, yeah,
but
because it's such a big change.
it is, yeah, right. GitLab CI YAML file is like at the core of most of the things we do, I would say. But
Yep.
but I mean, even if we don't split the file, we could just from the UX perspective give it a separate treatment. Just see like at which block we consider the CD pipeline to start, and then just display that separately if you want to. That would be an
Yeah.
interesting avenue to explore. Cool.
I think I'd
Yes.
actually really like to see a lot of this integrated with package as well. Because when I think of releases, I actually think of like software that you download or software that a user uses. So it would be interesting to have like a release as an input and then a package as an output as well. Or maybe even the other way around or something. I'm not sure. But I think there's like a link there that we should be able to take advantage of as well. Because it's kind of like the two paths of releasing software, right?
Yeah, I remember
I hadn't thought of package.
There's an issue when. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I hadn't thought of package in this context, so I don't even have a slot in my mind to where to put it in this discussion.
Yeah, it I think for us we're such like a cloud focused and cloud we're such a cloud focused company that the package team perhaps or the package feature set feels like kind of a separate addition to the way that at least the release team looks at releasing software. But it's a pretty valid like pathway for a lot of our open source users, right? The GNOME team isn't deploying software, right? They're building and packaging it for other people to pick up.
Yeah. Sorry, Nathan, you were saying?
So when there's an issue somewhere when we were first creating releases, like before we even had a release, and I remember Camille basically saying that his idea was to build releases on top of packages. So like you create a package and then that is a release. And so they're kind of one and the same.
Hmm.
I think that ship has kind of sailed because we've really built them out as separate things, but at least
Yeah.
linking them in some kind of first class way definitely makes sense to me, because for most, like if you're creating a package that is a release, like you're saying this is a consumable thing that people can
Exactly.
use. So
Exactly.
Yeah, as part of this whole discussion to disambiguate the concepts, like what is an environment, what is a deployment, definitely in my mind, what is a package and what is a release is a question that I cannot answer, because they're the same to a certain extent, at least.
yeah,
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have the think big session a bit that will be focused on environments, but hopefully we'll come up with a lot of answers to these kinds of questions for environments. And yeah, maybe we can have others in the future around releases and package and how they relate to each other. Because I'm at least so far, I haven't interacted that much with the package team, and I have the hunch that we should do that more.
Yeah, for
yeah, I
sure.
totally agree.
I think according to the chart, they come directly after us in the DevOps cycle. I think.
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to find the graphic now, but oh, here it is. They come right after. It's package and then release.
Oh, okay.
I guess that makes sense because you package everything up and then
Releases.
you release it and they deploy those
You
packages.
release the package.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That does make sense.
Yeah, it's funny how many of these concepts can be like nouns and verbs at the same time.
Yeah, right.
You can package a package and you can
Release,
release a release,
package.
and you can also deploy a deploy.
Right.
All right. I added some design updates here, but before we go into that, do you have anything to share? Like what's new in Frontend and the stuff you've been working on?
Been deleting a lot of code this milestone. It's been fun.
Always good.
Yeah.
On my side, I think I mentioned this last time, I'm doing some optimization of the releases page. And actually, Andrew, I asked him for a review. Let me see if I can find that. So far, it's pretty promising. It seems to, it really speeds up the page quite a bit, like the perceived feel of it. Let's see. One second. So here is the two different screenshots. So like beforehand, we just load them all in one big list. So you show the loading indicator until it's done. And this one, you can see it loads the first one and then it loads the next ones, and it just allows the API returns a lot faster when you only request one. So it seems like it's a nice kind of a little speed improvement without too much extra effort on our side. So I'm going to keep playing around with that, but that's what I've been working on.
Nice. This average millisecond time, is that for the whole page to load with the separate requests or for just the first block?
Just the first block. It's LCP is largest contentful paint, I think. So it's like the largest piece of content that gets added to the page,
Right.
And it's that timestamp. So it seems like when I'm measuring it, it's when it's deciding that first release is the largest piece. So yeah, and that's what we're measuring, like kind of as a company. So it's good that that metric lines up with what we're looking for.
Nice. Make sure to add the link in the agenda later because I would love to take a look.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Yeah, but from the design side, I think you folks might be more or less up to speed, but I'm gonna show anyway because there's always fun stuff. But yeah, this first one, I think Nathan was in the comments as well. Yeah, to improve the usability here, and especially the transition states. Like once you click deploy for review app, it doesn't really give you a lot of feedback of what's happening on the buttons aside from this text. So we went through some iterations and essentially got to this point. Changing the copy a little bit to refer to start app. So it's easier to relate to review app later on. And yeah, we have a lot more ideas, but for different states. But I try to keep it simple with the states that we already have, and working with the UI and some of the icons around it. So to keep the MVC as dry as possible. With that said, I just figured out, discovered another state that I didn't know existed. I was making a merge request to the handbook, and then the button to open the app actually has a drop down that links the specific pages that I have changed. That was really cool, but then I don't know if that's something really specific to how our handbook is set up, or like if for any, I don't know, React application, it can figure out which pages were changed and then show the URLs for that. Um,
You have
I have
to
no
you have
idea.
to configure it manually in the GitLab CI, which is kind of a pain. But
Right. Yeah,
So
for
do you
for our
basically
handbook works
say
really well.
yeah,
you
Um,
map like a change in a file to a URL? Is that how they configure it?
yeah, it's like a
let me
little.
see here.
I'm surprised we do that for a handbook. That'd be a huge mapping.
I think
I
it's a
mean,
little
it's only
magic.
for the pages that changed. So yeah, it's this one here.
It's some
Oh
magic
wow, that's
regex.
cool.
Oh, I can find it in the build somewhere.
And then these are the pages where the two markdown files I changed map to. So it is actually pretty useful because it has happened before for certain MRs that I open and it just goes to the homepage of the docs or the application. That's not really useful. Like I cannot actually review anything like this. So yeah, this was pretty nice.
That's cool.
I wonder if I should add this to the issue, but yeah, I guess it's just another variation of the copy, so it'll be fine most likely. But who knows? If we
So
break something, we'll figure it out.
does that drop down? Does it show the page in the review app, or does it show the like the live version of it?
So now it's deployed, so it's showing the live version, but I had a screenshot. Let me see if I still have it. This? No, it's not this. Yeah, I don't think I have it anymore. But it showed view most recent app, and then it linked to the URL to the review app environment.
Cool.
Yeah. Um,
As with all
right,
things GitLab, it's in a YAML file somewhere.
oh, this route map. That's interesting. I assume this is well documented in the review apps, right? Or
Somewhere.
is that something like more internally to GitLab that we built it for ourselves?
No, it's definitely documented somewhere. I remember having to update some part of it at some point in the past
Oh,
couple years.
right. Yeah, I can see there's a pretty nasty regex here to figure out the pages. Nice. I mean, it was useful. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, moving on. The second thing that's like wrapped up. I'm super happy with this. This milestone was a bit short in design issues for me, so I'm able to wrap up everything I had on my plate. But yeah, the other one is the adding tiers to the environments page, which ended up having the most dumb in a way solution that is just adding a tag here to the same column, um, and then here on the responsive version as well, adding the tag next to it, which is not the most elegant solution because it doesn't allow us to filter in the future for the environment tier. Um, but as I described here in the comments, adding a new column ended up pretty bad because there's just no more extra space to add columns here. So with that in mind, I essentially created issues to make the environment stable full width and do other small fixes so we can reclaim some of the space that's missing to make this work. This is not necessarily prioritized, but in my latest conversation with Kevin, he mentioned that given all the discussions that we're having, um, it might not be the best to focus on big changes for environment and instead focus on small usability issues while we define the future direction for it. So yeah, maybe this will come into the fold because it's really easy to fix. And then the final state would be something like this. So we can actually add one more column and have all the space. And these two columns they're already breaking in the current layout. You see, like this is a 16-inch
Yeah.
screen, so there's plenty of space, but the content is clipping. So we'll be fixing a couple things in one MR here. So yeah, I'll see for 14.1 and 14.2 if we can put these into the rotation. They are not a huge priority, but they are super quick to fix. So maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, I feel like those would be worth prioritizing because it's right now it's just so painful looking at that smashed page, and it would be so easy to fix it.
And it's like this one it breaks my heart how you go into the page and everything just looks broken, like it
Yeah.
looks utterly broken, and then you change one CSS class and it just looks, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to look, you know.
Yeah. This is one of the
Or-
roughest pages in our whole application, I think.
yeah, I had a quick chat today with Marcel, another design manager. He pinged me on another small front-end issue that I was that is assigned to me, saying, "Hey, do you want help to set up your environment?" I was like, "Yes." So he gave me an overview of Gitpod and how to get it running and all of that. So hopefully in the near future, I'll just go attack these issues and create MRs and just tag you folks to review my awful code changes.
That's awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll let you know. And yeah, last thing on my plate is a little bit off the path for me is creating a new icon. I'm not like the most prolific visual or icon designer, but this came up and I said, you know what, why not? So essentially we have the new we have a new top level navigation for deployments coming in. Let me find top, yeah, this one, which I just found out is already behind a feature flag. So I'm trying to get that set up for me. But yeah, essentially it's a new section for deployments with feature flags, environments, and releases inside. Um, and essentially in this issue, we define that let's just get the current icon for environments and inherit it for deployments. And thus we need a new icon for environments. So I came up with this suggestion, kind of like interpreting what we have in terms of discussion so far. Deployments being an action more than an object, so it makes sense to have a more dynamic icon. And then environments being the place where the deployment goes to, being a more like chunky container type icon. So I got really good feedback on this, on like different options and stuff like that. So we'll work on that. But yeah, it's nice to flex the visual design muscles every once in a while.
Yeah, it looks nice. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Yeah, I like the leaf shape. Just like tried filling it up and ended up looking like a leaf. So like, why not? Looks good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I like
but
that. It's not just like square.
yeah, but it goes a little bit against the rest of our icons today. Jeremy from Foundations commented and shared some of the icons. So essentially, all of our icons are stroked. We have some icons that are like more filled, but for a lot of them, we are moving away from them. So having it stroked would be the ideal. And then let me see here. Yeah. So I had this option as well, but it's kind of too similar to the current one. So I wonder if at smaller sizes it would be too easy to confuse the two. But
Mm.
Yeah.
we'll see. Like, it still works visually and has the same concept, but it's a bit too similar to this one, so not so sure about it. But
Cool.
yeah.
And so that would be the top level, because deployments is now the top level item, right? So that would be what was shows in the sidebar.
Yeah. No. So what was shown on the sidebar is just the current one that is being used for environments.
Okay, but the new one you're proposing is that's where it would be used.
No, the new one, the new one actually won't be actively used unless we like somehow use it within the environments. Oh no, sorry, it will be used in the, where is it? Yeah, the top level menu currently uses the environments icon, so this would go in there.
Is that a new menu? I haven't seen that.
So this is behind the feature flag. It's a new menu. Just a redesign of what we currently have, but this takes to the environments dashboard. So it's still kind of a little bit wonky to have like environments listed under here. Like, this is called environments and takes you to the environments page. This is called environments and takes you to the environments dashboard. But there's an issue for this as well, so it will be addressed in the near future. And then I actually have a little prototype here that shows the leaf icon in its place. Yeah. You see it,
I like it.
It pops up more than the others because it's filled and the others are stroked. So there is some logic to having a different version. Where is it? Yeah. But yeah, excited to work a little bit more on this and see where it goes.
Yeah, it's hard to condense something as complex as a deployment into a tiny little icon like that.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's why I just did an iteration of what we currently have, because if I introduce a brand new icon, then our users have to relearn this association between the labels, calling it deployment or environments or whatever it is, to that specific form, right? So here, since these concepts are so close, I'm just trying to borrow that closeness and use it visually. So, hey, this thing looks like that other thing, so these two things are probably related. That's what I'm trying to go for. If I did something completely different, then people would have just to learn that this is environments. But I'm not an icon designer, so a lot of this is just like, guessing and eventually testing this if necessary. All right, we are almost at time. Let me stop my screen share because otherwise I don't see your faces. And yeah, if you folks don't have anything else to add, I think that's it. And see you soon on the Environments Think Big, if you'll be there.
Yeah, when
Sounds great.
when is that?
That is
It's like right now, I think.
Yeah, right now it's 5 minutes from now. Are you in the invite?
No.
I can add you. Can I? Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I didn't realize this meeting was a thing. I'm glad we had this.
Yeah, just added you to the invite, Andrew.
Awesome.
All right, see you in a bit then.
All right. See you guys.
Cheers.